And let's just start with Luis Castillo. Let's start with a guy like Luis Castillo, because I feel like every single team could use a guy like Luis Castillo. I mean, he's not young, but he's controllable and he's a good starting pitcher. He's had weird half seasons where he's amazing in the front half, then terrible in the second half. He has weird home road splits. Aram, I'm sure there are teams on teams that would want a Luis Castillo. So let's just speculate. Talk to me.
Who wants him?
Who wants him?
Everybody. I mean, you're getting a legitimate, really, when he's on, he's a solid number 2. When he's at his usual average, I think he's a really solid number 3. He's under a little bit more control. Yes, he's volatile at times, but he has a track record of when he struggles, he's going to come around and have a streak where he's just as good for just as long as well. So, I mean, I think there's going to be a long list of teams looking at this guy. And the Yankees are always in on pitching, right? I mean, I feel like Luis Castillo and the Yankees have always been tied to each other. You look at maybe LA Angels, that is, not the Dodgers. They're pretty fine there. The Padres, but they don't have enough prospects. This could be one of those situations where we could see big league for big league, because the Reds don't want to fully tear it down necessarily. They have Nick Lodolo and Hunter Green knocking on the door. This could be a rare MLB trade here, which would be really cool. I think baseball needs more of those anyways.
So I had an idea. When you said Angels, they have a lot of MLB-ready players. Would you trade Brandon Marsh for Luis Castillo?
Yeah.
You would?
Yeah. Would that just be a 1-for-1? The thing is the Angels kind of need both of those guys now, right? That's the interesting thing. Justin Upton, are you counting on him to be your everyday corner outfielder for the final year of his deal?
Though. He was good
until he wasn't.
Yeah, kind of. But yeah.
What about the Giants? Are the Giants going to trade ever?
Would they trade one of those catchers, Bailey or Bart?
I think they're going to audition Bart, and then if he sucks, then what?
You think he's going to suck?
No, I think he'll be all right. But his bat's a question.
Why?
I think it's a high floor. I think Joey Bart's the highest floor.
What do you see that scares you about Bart?
Pulls everything. I don't think he's ever hit an Oppo home run. He's got a little Didi Gregorius in him. I think when he got to the big leagues, they kind of picked on that. I thought he made some improvements this year. But the other thing that really scares me is he got blown up by velo. Blown up. Fastball's up. That's all they gave him. Just steady diet, fastball up. I think they could literally tell him it's coming, give him the glove gesture, fastball coming, and they'd blow him up. I think he was Bobby Dalbec level of batting average against fastballs 95 and above. So that's a little concerning because, as we know, that's what Major League Baseball is, period. There's a reason why the Giants are not opposed to trading him. He should be untouchable given the circumstances, and he's not. I think that kind of tells you a little bit without them wanting to tip their hand too much on Joey Bart.
I feel like a move to the Angels makes so much sense, and Luis Castillo for Brandon Marsh straight up, I think could kind of work. Is anyone opposed?
No.
I'm not, because, Joe Adell is that offensive upside guy. He's still going to play good defense in a corner, even though his arm somehow went from sick to noodle. I don't know when that happened, because he was throwing 90 something off the mound in high school. But you have somebody like Jordan Adams, who the bat's a big question, but could play phenomenal defense and still kind of slide into center. Because the thing is I kind of want Trout out of center. Is that nuts? I know how good he is in center field, but let's be real. Mike Trout is one of the best hitters we've seen ever, and he's wearing down a little bit. Move that guy to a corner. I think it's a lot better for his body. I mean, look at all of these center fielders in recent history who have had their career cut short for all of the crazy catches and all of the crazy things they have to do in center field. Brandon Marsh is a supreme defender in center field. It's not like you're going to have some insane drop-off from Trout to Marsh at this point in Trout's career too. I'm moving Trout to a corner. I know you laugh, but I bet you the Angels are thinking about it right now.
Aram, I actually think you're Ebenezer Scrooge. I think you hate Christmas, and I think that you want to see Trout's window cut right now. He's
I'm trying to extend his fucking window.
He's the best player that we've seen in our time of like actively viewing baseball. Like, right? So let him be the best player on planet Earth for as long as he possibly can. And when he shows some signs of decline in center, you can move him to a corner. I'm not a fan of proactively moving him to right.
Well, this isn't proactive. This is reactive. Giancarlo Stanton's played more games over the last 3 years than Mike Trout has. Like, this is reactive to the fact that he keeps getting hurt. Like, move him to a corner and prolong his career. And you know what, dude? Like, he's still going to be good in the corner. Brandon Marsh is an elite defensive center fielder. If we're talking about optimizing your team, like, that is the best move, in my opinion. I don't understand how that makes him now not the best player in baseball. You can't play left and be the best player in baseball. Is that not
Soto's doing it?
Hold on. I see what Arm's saying, because it sounds blasphemous, right? Oh, yeah, we're just going to move Mike Trout out of center field and move him to right field. But Mookie Betts was a center fielder, and he moved over to right field. I know he didn't move over because of injuries or anything, but he is still one of the perennial best right fielders in baseball, and nobody thinks any less of Mookie Betts. If Mike Trout were to move for right or left, no one would think any less, and it actually could maybe alleviate some of those pains, and then he could actually have a better offensive season. So I don't even think it's crazy. And when I was thinking to myself, I was like, yeah, that could get us canceled, but it's not
that one.
Crazy. It's not crazy at all, I don't think.
I bet you Mike Trout plays more games in left field this year than anybody thinks. I'm willing to that. We can do another side wager on that one.
He's also not that great of a defender. Like, he's so fast, and he can track balls down incredibly, but it's not that he has like this crazy arm strength. And left field kind of makes sense. It does. And he's still going to be even better as a left fielder than he would be a center fielder.
And if they make this trade, he has to play center. So, like, that's the thing, is if they make this trade, he's going to center field. And now you're putting some eggs in the basket of Jordan Adams. Like, I don't love Jordan Adams. So
why not?
He's glove first. You can't really hit. I don't love the bat with Jordan Adams. I think,
you're a big Terrence Gore guy.
Oh God. I don't know if he's that bad.
Gerard Dyson.
Yeah.
What are we looking at here? Ben Revere?
No, he's a little better than that. Well, Revere, maybe. He might be better. Revere.
Are we looking at Sam Fold?
Sam Fold. Ooh, Sam Fold's gas.
Yeah, he was gas.
Yeah. So what about the Giants? What does the trade look like with the Giants? Like, Luis Castillo, I think, fits the mold. He's that changeup fastball guy that the Giants love. They love those types of pitchers. He fits right in. And even if you're not trading a catcher, like, what are the Reds looking for there? Like, the Reds are probably looking for some outfield help. What are they looking for? You're kind of connected to the Reds. What do they need, Jack?
How about Castillo from Mike Yaz?
No, Reds wouldn't do that. No way.
Mike
Why
Yaz
would they want?
prospect?
Why would they want Yaz?
Yaz is low key like 30.
Yeah, he's 30, but he helps them win now.
But did they want to win now? Like, what are they doing?
I think they do want to win now.
They're just going to let Castellanos go.
They're not blowing it up.
I mean, we're trading away Luis Castillo because we hear Luis Castillo trade rumors. We heard Sonny Gray trade rumors.
Yeah, but
they might not blow it up.
If,
but like,
if they were actually blowing it up, if they were actually blowing it up, they would trade both of them. But it sounds like they're not going to trade both of them. It sounds like they're going to trade one of them and then have the other there to front a rotation with Lodolo and Green.
God, I love Lodolo and Green.
Yeah, how sick is that? What I think that the Reds want to do here is, like, they're trying to stay relevant while capitalizing on the guys that they can't afford to pay, because we know that they're just not going to pay. They've made it clear that they're just not going to do that. So I think trading Castillo now, similar to the Blake Snell situation, obviously they're not as smart as the Rays, but similar to that, like, maximize his value and get pieces that help you now and still set you up for the future. The Giants are a good partner for that. You could end up getting a package here where you're buying a little bit low on prospects if you like them. Like, how about a Heliot Ramos?
That guy would be that ready. Come on, you said Thunder. I was like, Heliot Ramos. How about that? He's almost major league ready, and he's an outfielder.
Right? Big league ready guy. And then the Giants have like a litany of solid bats that could plug right in, right? Like, you could go get an Austin Slater, or you could go get, I don't think they deal like Lamont Wade, obviously, but like, they have so many dudes like that could fit in. Steven Duggar, like one of those guys packaged in that help them next year. Ramos as well. You're going to need to give up more. So I'm curious what it would look like. Maybe a pitching prospect, maybe somebody else. Maybe they trade Bart. Like, maybe they trade Bart. You know what? Like, Tucker Barnhart's gone. We'll see what the long-term plan is behind the dish for the Reds, but I wouldn't hate that either.
Here's my thing on the Reds, though. Like, they are the Portland Trailblazers, right?
Yeah, they actually are.
They're never going to entirely blow it up, they've got some stars. Like Damian Lillard is screwed. Like it's the AI thing. You're in purgatory. You're never going to win the big one, but you got to stick around because you've got this generational guy. The Reds have just floundered with Joey Votto. I mean, think about that. Like Joey Votto's been around. They've got the rookie of the year. They've got two of the best pitching prospects in baseball coming up, but they're not going to win the World Series. They don't even have a shot at winning the World Series. They are the Portland Trailblazers. They're never going to blow it all the way up, and they're never going to be the team to beat. That sucks.
Never say never. Come on. Never say never. Not in the next, couple of years, but never say never. I mean, the Big Red Machine, they've had legends. I mean, this is not just like this crap team who's never been there, like the Rockies. You can never say never on the Rockies.
When was the Big Red Machine?
Yeah, kind of long ago, like in the 70s.
Were you alive? No.
But you're being disrespectful. Never say that. The Reds are, you can't put the Reds in that boat.
Pete, we talk for an hour every day. We have to find stuff to talk about. And sometimes that's not always going to be respectful.
All right, here's something that's kind of disrespectful. Do you think the Giants think that Patrick Bailey, their second best catching prospect, can hit? Because in high A, when he went up through 135 at bats, 185, 290, 296 slash line, struck out 43 times. Like, is this a guy that if you trade Joey Bart, that you just have this replacement in Patrick Bailey? We keep hearing that. And it's like, I mean, he did hit in low A and when he first came up, and like, it's fine. And then the entire slash line, we're looking at like a 265, 366, 429 guy, like fine.
But yeah, I mean, it's a good question. And he's out, like, regardless, still super far off. So like, what's your contingency plan?
Yeah.
If you're trading Joey Bart away, like that's definitely a weird spot to be. I don't think you're totally wrong on that. Like, I think it's a really interesting point, but the Giants are one of those teams where, like, I wouldn't be surprised by like what they do no matter what. I mean, the Reds are kind of fine, I think, moving forward with Tyler Stevenson. But that's the interesting thing when we look at, what they're doing over with the Giants. It's like, yeah, Patrick Bailey might be further off than you think. Even if you believe in him, he's further off than you think. So are you going to trade Joey Bart? Probably not. So that's the thing too with Luis Castillo is I think that's why the Reds have been a little bit hesitant. It's like you'd think that the market would be massive for him. And I think there's a lot of teams with interest, but not a lot of teams that are willing to give up what's required to go get somebody like that. The last team I want to float is the St. Louis Cardinals. That is a team that I think makes so much sense. But again, it's in division. There's no freaking way they're trading Luis Castillo to the Cardinals. So it's like, it just seems like one of those weird spots where you're like, where does he fit in? And unless I'm missing somebody, the Yankees seem to make the most sense for me.
I actually think the Angels make the most sense. I love when you brought up the Angels. I think Brandon Marsh for Luis Castillo makes all the sense in the world.
So apparently the Angels backed out of Brandon Marsh for Max Meyer. Which is pretty crazy.
Which is, I'd rather have Max Meyer, I think.
But that shows how high they are on Marsh.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But that might show that might be what the consensus value is more so on Marsh. Like, he didn't hit great, but I think people undervalue. I see it in the Marlins area because Marlins fans are like, thank God that they backed out. Like, we would never want Meyer for Marsh. I would still do Meyer for Marsh. Like, Marsh is the highest
Marsh than Meyer.
Imagine. Yeah. Plus defender and center. Yeah, I get heat for that all the time from Marlins fans. But, it's just personally, the Marlins need it so badly. He can hit, man. Like, he didn't quite hit the way you thought. And even with a rough debut, 86 WRC plus to go with premium defense in center field and elite speed. Like, I mean, I'm willing to bet on that guy figuring it out at the plate. And he's had so many at-bats taken away from him in the minor leagues after being a high school guy too. So like, he's going to continue to develop and that's a guy that just can hit.
We got to remember though, you want what you don't have. Like, that is the case. That is the case with trades. That's the case with free agency. That is the case with human instinct. You want what you don't have. The Marlins have this gluttony of pitching prospects, Max Meyer being one of them. I think that's why Aram is inclined to go get an outfielder, which they so badly need, and a guy that can be a 10-year big leaguer. The Angels have a bunch of those guys that hit. They don't have any of those guys that pitch. So they're always going to be looking for pitching right now. So like, I think both sides could see either side, but the grass is always, always greener, and you always, always want what you don't have.